Buzz, bitches. We are back for Yellowjackets Season 3. I'm so excited. The first 2 episodes have dropped. I'm one of your hosts for the Baron's Hideout, Anna, and I'm not here by myself this week. We have a very special guest. Please welcome Brett Parker from Dissect That Film.
Hello, hello. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to finally talk some TV. It's been a long time.
I know, right? So I was super excited to hear that you watched this show. And I did not know that. Tell me a little bit about that. Did you start when the series started, or did you kind of jump on the train later and catch up?
It was, I think, season 1 was towards the end, and it just kind of, I kept seeing the trailers. I just kept seeing like ads for it, and I was like, this looks interesting because it's like, it's very Lord of the Flies. So I was very interested in like the story they were trying to tell, and I saw some of the cast, and it was the adult cast, and I saw Christina Ricci was involved, and I was like, you don't have to say anymore. Christina Ricci's involved. I'm in there. And Melanie Linsky is also another one I was very excited to see as well. So me and my wife, we jumped in and we binged pretty much all season 1, probably in a week or so. And we were there.
Hooked ever since, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, very similar to me. Same. Like, it was like right after the first season ended, I just kept seeing stuff everywhere for Yellowjackets. And I'm like, I've got to check this show out. But we have come a long way from season 1. And these first 2 episodes were, episode 1 was called It Girl, and episode 2 was called Dislocation, very appropriately so. I started off episode 1 on a high note. Still fucking hate Maury. I cannot stand her. She's my least favorite, and she just gets on my fucking nerves.
She was a character I forgot about. Like, I was like, oh, that's her name.
How do you forget about Maury?
Just trying to, like, you know, it feels like forever since season 2 ended. So, like,
almost
getting into season 3, getting into season 3, I'm like relearning everyone's name except for like your core characters. Like, you know the important ones. And Mari was the one that I remembered her face, but then I forgot her name. And I was like, who? Like, oh yeah, you're that girl. All right,
the whiner,
okay.
the fucking whiner.
Yep, takes a little bit too far on everything.
Yeah. And I do love, because when we ended season 2, it was still winter, and the cabin burned down. And we were kind of left to think that it was Coach Ben, because he's done with these girls. They're eating people now. And it really, truly just shows the differences in, you know, he's an adult, they're kids. This is how the 2 age groups are reacting to this kind of trauma. And for the time being, at least when season 2 ended, Ben still had enough wits about him to realize, like, okay, I've got to get out of here because I'm not a part of this team with them per se. You know, I'm their coach, but they don't look at me the same way they look at each other. So if shit goes down, I'm probably going to be one of the first ones to be eaten. But I was really, like, Lottie and Travis. I feel so bad for Travis just because, you know, he lost his dad when the plane crashed. And then everything with Javi, the wilderness per se, kind of picking him over Nat, and then them eating him. I feel like this is kind of the start of where he goes later in life with his addiction and wanting to do more and learn more. And he's scared right now. But then, like, when we saw those flashbacks and we realized in present day that Lottie was actually there when Travis died, now I'm wondering, after seeing all this where she keeps giving him the mushrooms, I'm like, so was she still doing that in present day and we just haven't seen it yet, kind of thing? But they were definitely still in contact at that point, you know, in present day. So I don't know. I just feel so bad for him. And especially at the end of episode 2 where I think he's trying to get her off his back. Like, okay, the wilderness told me it's not me. And he's pointing Lottie to Aquila because she's kind of the animal whisperer. They're raising ducks now. They've got all this stuff going on. And just the look of terror and fright on his face, I don't know. It just broke my heart. What do you think? What do you think about Travis and Lottie and all the wilderness stuff?
I kind of believe what you're saying. Like, I feel Lottie was with him up until the end. Like she was trying to force more of what it was trying to provide or what it was trying to say, to the point where Travis was like, I'm done. Like it's done. And because you can tell just how, like, the adult Lottie, like how manipulative she is, and the way that when she talks, the way she talks to people, it's like she is trying to burrow into your brain to go, okay. And I mean, she's a cult leader, so that's how most cult leaders, you know, talk to their followers or people they're trying to persuade to come to their side. And, you know, we see it in these first 2 episodes of, like, when she comes back and she's being pulled in, how everyone's against her, but then she somehow still gets in. And so I really feel that she was very much involved with Travis up until he takes his own life. And to me, a little bit, some of it, I kind of wish we didn't get to see, like, what happens to Travis, like, in that first season. I think they kind of gave us too much in the first season, as much as we liked it. I'm now looking at Travis, you know, what was going on with him back then, and I'm kind of like, well, we know where this goes. So is that a good thing that we already know what happens to him, or is it good that we already know and we're just kind of getting a backstory on his life and maybe where it led? But, I mean, this guy, like you said, he went through it all. Losing his dad, losing his brother, who he was trying to protect to the nth degree, and having to deal with all of these girls who just are I mean, of course, you're secluded in the woods dealing with whatever. Yeah. So things are going to happen. Bad things are going to happen. But, of course, like the coach, you know, going off, finding Javi's little lair there, and then Nat finds it too, where he shows Nat, and then that's where Nat's like, you need to stay here, like you need to do not come back, because they're not going to accept you and you're going to be safe here. And then having that knowledge that Nat knows where he is, and then we're kind of starting to see that some people are kind of going, I think Nat knows more than she knows.
Yeah, and even young Ty is starting to feel that way too. Remember when they're looking for Mari, once she disappears, Van's like, do you think it should be you? Does a part of you feel like you want it? They're all starting to want a taste of that power, because they're getting tired of each other, close quarters. I mean, I couldn't be around girls that long for that in the wilderness.
And these are teenage girls.
Exactly. Yeah, they're the worst. And then we see Shauna. She's definitely got some anger built up, but rightfully so. Honestly, you know, she's experienced something out there that none of the other girls have even thought about. And I kind of feel like because of their age, they're not taking that into consideration. But, you know, Shauna got pregnant too young, and it's one of those things that shouldn't have happened in the first place. But I do kind of feel like they're getting tired of her. It's like we've comforted and we've listened and we know this happened to you and we feel bad, but you got to start to kind of process and move on.
Yeah, we got to work together instead of working against each other to, you know, if we want to survive. And Shauna's like, fuck all of you.
Yeah, fuck all you. She's hate writing in her journal in her little hut. I do like the new setup they've got since the cabin burned down.
Very cool.
Yeah, very cool. So with the adults, I feel a lot of the consensus I got last season, and I'm kind of seeing a little bit of it now with these first 2 episodes coming out, is that people are way more invested in the wilderness storyline than they are the adult storyline.
Right.
Do you feel that way at all? You do?
100%.
How come?
Nothing is happening with the adults. Like, nothing is happening. You have Van and Thaisa, and they're like, you know, they're rekindling their you know, relationship that they had back then. You know, they do the restaurant thing, but then you have that tragedy that happens, you know, with that, which, did we really need that? Do we need it? It doesn't do anything to the story. Is it going to lead into the fact that, like, maybe it was involved, and the fact that Thaisa sees visions and all that, like Slender Man shows up in the episode, you're like, oh, hey, what's
there's
going
that
on
guy.
over there?
Hadn't seen him in a while.
Yeah, but I don't know. Nothing. Even like I said, I love Christina Ricci. What are they doing? No one's doing anything in these episodes. And then when we go to the wilderness and that stuff is going on, I am totally invested. I'm like, just keep showing us this, because this is what just keep going with this. Like, if we have a couple minutes here and there throughout these episodes of the adult versions of these characters, I'm cool with that. But like, what are we leading to?
Yeah.
I just don't see anything going right now. It's kind of just running in circles.
Yeah. So there was a comment made. I don't know if it was made in season 2 at all or even season 1, but it was like, they don't know what we did when we got back. Something along those lines. So now I'm starting to wonder if what happened at Lottie's compound happened more when they actually got back and they were rescued. Like, once they got back with their parents and they're in therapy, maybe they all kind of reconnected like we see them do as adults. And maybe that trauma was still there and they felt like bad things are happening in their life and it's because we need to sacrifice something for the wilderness. There's still very much a case of everything that's happening can be justified and explained by reason. Like, everything that's happening with Travis and Lottie in the woods, he's taking shrooms. Like, that shit happens when you ingest psychedelics. So it doesn't necessarily have to be the wilderness talking to him. And the same thing goes with everything happening in adult, like what's going on in present day with the adults. So I don't know. I feel like they might be leaning more into the spiritual aspect of it this season. Because the girl who plays young Shauna, I was watching some clips of them like promoting the new season, and she said a lot of people's questions will be answered this season. So I'm hoping we get more answers before we get more questions. But even though everything going on with the adults has been kind of slower, we're still getting like something's up. Somebody knows something about something. And that's actually, I think it was Shauna that said that when they were all at dinner after Natalie's memorial. And she was like, they don't know what we did when we got back. And that's when we get another point of view of someone watching them. And the way episode 2 kind of goes and ends with Melissa and all that, I think it's her. And that's one theory that I said, and I'm kind of leaning into, I might be right about, is that Melissa is going to be Hilary Swank's character because she signed on for season 3. And I don't see somebody like Hilary Swank playing a background role. You know,
No.
she's going to be somebody in the forefront. So I really think that she might be an adult Melissa. And because she was already kind of doing that with Shauna in the wilderness. We get those parallels. But they could be tricking us and making us think that it's Melissa and that it ends up being somebody else, you know.
Yeah, we never know. I mean, that's, I think, the beauty of this show is they haven't really given us like obvious, like, oh yeah, that makes sense. It's like sometimes you get to it and you're like, oh wow, I wasn't expecting that twist. But this is a character like Melissa. Like, Melissa's what? She's been there the whole time, of course, but she's just been in the background. Like, she's never said anything. Because even I think Shauna says to her, it's like, oh, you actually do talk. You do have a personality. Because all she would do is just wander around, you know, doing whatever she was tasked to do. But it makes sense that she would be this, you know, unseen figure that's, you know, stalking her in the bathroom when she's at the restaurant, you know, leaving that phone on the top of the toilet, and one who delivers the package to Shauna's house and her daughter gets it.
Yeah.
And like all those things, like, oh, that makes sense, because at the end of of episode 2, you know, when they have that, you know, when she just like pops out of the bushes and Shauna's just out there. And then of course they you know, have their intimate moment. You're like, all right, I see where this is going here.
Yeah.
But yeah, you never know with this show. They could always just throw some other random person out. You're like, oh, right, they were there too. But I really hope it is that character. Would kind of just not make any sense. Like, why would you set this up for her not to be this unseen figure?
Other than just trying to give us a red herring, which this show is full of them enough.
Yeah.
You know, give us a straight shot for once.
Yeah.
Poor Jeff, man. I love Jeff. I'm so team Jeff. Shauna needs to get it together, because I was on Jeff's side. After that dinner, excuse me, I agreed with Shauna because I feel that way a lot. Like, I can't do fancy corporate bullshit like
I
that.
can't take fake people like them. They're
Exactly.
fake as hell.
They're so fake.
They're like bros. They're like bros. Like, get out of here. Can we talk like human beings, please?
And they talk about how, oh, we're self-made, just like you. And she's like, but are you? What did your father do? And then
The same thing you do.
The same thing. Oh, so I guess you're not self-made. So for Shauna, I get it, and I totally relate to that. But Jeff, this man has done everything for Shauna. He has stuck by her. He was about to go to prison and take the fall for Adam's murder before Walter poisoned the detective and killed him. Like, Jeff is a real one. And Shauna needs to get it together. And he said it best. He was like, you're not the only person in this household, and you feel like you are. And I agree with that so much, because she needs to kind of also be Callie's friend. Stop worrying about being her mother and protecting her from she's not going to be stuck out in the wilderness or anything like that. I
Right.
get it. But everything she has experienced, once again, just like Jeff said, is not something normal for a teenager of her age to experience. So now she's in on this, and you're pushing her away even more. I mean, this girl got suspended from school because she heard kids talking shit about her mom. And she was like, I'm going to show them. I thought that was badass. But I think Shauna needs to be her friend more, because she's an only child as well. And she's pushing her away by doing this, and she's pushing her directly into Lottie's arms. And everything that Lottie said to her on the compound that night, because Callie's the one who shot her. She's like, oh, this one is so strong. Her aura and her force, whatever, that babble bullshit. And once again, Lottie being a cult leader, she knows how to say things, and she's soft-spoken, and she's just got that very caring energy that makes people want to come to her. So someone who's Callie's age and is vulnerable and is wanting attention and someone to listen to her, I feel like Lottie's going to be the next best thing to Shauna, because Lottie was there to experience it with her.
Yeah, I think the biggest problem is with the adult versions of the characters so far is that with season 1 and 2 we had the affair that Shauna had, and then we had the fact that the police are after her, or suspicious of her actions, and Jeff and all that stuff. And then when season 2 ends, everyone who's going after them are dead or run off.
Right.
And so now we're just left with they have to do something new, and now we have this whole her and Callie and all that, and it's just not as strong in my opinion.
Yeah.
This whole thing with Callie, for one, Callie looks like she's 25. Can we stop this? This girl is is college age going to high school, but that's kind of normal.
Right.
She just seems like the actress just puts it out there she's way smarter than she is putting it out there. But there'd be times where she's acting dumb. You're stop it.
Yeah.
You're doing a poor job at it. You're
Stop it.
You're not selling yourself well. And then they keep throwing Walter and the whole Walter and Misty situation, in which I love Elijah Wood. What's he doing? What's he doing?
Know.
I guess the only thing that it's doing is it's making Misty see how she is, because Walter is just her to Nat. That was how she was to Nat.
Yeah.
And so, but she's still not getting it though. She is seeing how Walter treats her, which is exactly how she treated Nat, but she's not figuring it out.
Yeah.
And she's like, but you're hovering it's such a weird situation, and I feel again it doesn't lead to anything.
Yeah. Yeah, and what started as them both being citizen detectives and them kind of meeting because of this Adam Martin case. Last season, I was cheering them on. I was like, they're so cute. They're the perfect couple. I love Elijah Wood. He obviously has a thing for her. And then I kind of felt like, well, maybe he's something else is going on and he's there for other reasons. But now I obviously don't think that. And I truly just think he cares about Misty. And for the first time in her life, that's the only person that's ever truly cared about her, that's been a friend. And I don't know. It just, man, it broke my heart for her a little bit because he was telling her everything she needed to hear. Like, you were so drunk last night and no one answered your phone calls. And you left your phone at the bar, and instead of the bartender calling the cops and you probably getting arrested for all the shit you pulled, he just started calling contacts in your phone, and no one answered till he got to me, which is the W's.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, that's sad. But but I've also been there myself where it's like I'm the friend who I'll go above and beyond and do everything for everyone else in my life, and I don't get that in return. So there's very much a shift that kind of has to happen to where you can be there for people, but you also have to put your foot down and realize when you're getting taken advantage of, and that's what Elijah or Walter is there to do. Yeah, it's trying to do.
I know he's trying to he's trying to open her eyes to who she really is, and she's just not picking it up. And so his actions to her is like overbearing boyfriend, but it's actually just trying to change, not really change her, but really just see what she's doing to herself. And the fact that listen, these people aren't your friends. They never were your friends. They never liked you.
Yeah.
I like you. I love you, actually. I want to be there for you, but you are more concerned about... It's like, well, the wilderness changed us. The wilderness connected us. And every time they go back to them as teenagers in the woods, no one likes her. No one wants her around. They're just it's always a last, resort type of thing. If there's nobody around, if Misty's there... okay, I got to use Misty, but they're never going to go to her first in a do or die type of situation. And she just never can get that. She just never can understand it.
Yeah. The only person that really did like her for who she truly was Crystal. And then we still don't know where her body is because it disappeared. She backed her off the ledge because Misty was like, oh, we're best friends. We're going to tell each other everything. And it's like, well, you don't tell each other that because you fucked up the transmitter to where y'all could be found and saved. Oh, but yeah, I also liked in the bathroom when Shauna did find the phone, adult Shauna, it was the Playing with the Queen of Hearts song. Yep. That was the ringtone. Yep. I do love, man, the soundtrack in the whole series is just so great. They play on words or things that are happening in the episode, but then they also play 90s bangers when they go back.
90s songs that aren't the more popular ones. They're ones you're like, oh yeah,
I remember that. Yeah,
I remember that song, but it was you only heard it a couple times through your childhood because they never would play it. But the theme song, the music they play over the opening of the show, I'm just I never skip it. I love that song. The song's great.
Always. Oh, let's see. I did love, too, because Callie's smoking weed, and Shauna smells it. I love how she's just thinking that she's going to hide that. And Jeff calls it chronic, and then Shauna's like, no, don't say that. That's your dad's word. Or Callie says, did you just call it chronic? And she's like, yeah, it's your dad's word. He's rubbing off on me. And then he smells it on Shauna later, and he says, I just love Jeff. I'm so team Jeff. He cracks me up. But... I was hoping at the end of episode 2, we would get Callie showing Lottie the tape she found, or that was delivered to Shauna that she stole.
Yeah.
I want to see what's on that tape.
It's when you always see somebody deliver a tape, that is the thing you're fixated on.
I know.
For however long until they put that damn tape into something so you can see what's on it.
If they wait till the end of the season, I'm going to fucking boycott.
Well, here's a thing we should do. Maybe we should give our guesses on what we think is on the tape.
Let's do it. What do you think's on there?
I think it's a sex tape between her and it's Shauna and what's her name in the
Melissa. Oh my gosh. That would be something.
Yeah. I mean, they're playing teenagers. They're not actually teenagers. So
right. Yeah.
But I think it's something in that vein. Maybe not full on, but it was. I don't know. Or actually, I'll let you guess before I come up with something else because I'm gonna have multiple things in my head.
I don't know. I feel like there was a reason why we got that line from Shauna. They don't know what we did when we got back. So I think maybe Van's the movie nerd. like the story. She's out there telling everybody stories, or I love that she's like retelling movies that she remembers. I think that's really cute. But what if she, like, when they got back, they decided to, like I said, their life is in shambles, much like we see at Lottie's compound. So they say, why don't we sacrifice somebody and see if it makes everything better? And maybe Van videotapes it, or maybe there's somewhere where, like a, like a security footage would be, and then they realize it after the fact, and then they take the tape because they know it's obviously got damning evidence on it.
Your theory is way better than mine.
No theory is better than any other theory. That's why they're theories. That very could be true. Or what if her and Melissa had something going on and she yet again cheated on Jeff, and now it's going to come back out, and Jeff's going to be like, oh, now I'm finding out all this shit again. Yeah.
Like, I mean, I did it one time in high school, with you and your best friend. So, but like multiple times as adults, like that's way worse.
Yeah. Way worse.
Way worse.
Yeah. And I feel like the thing too with the dine and dash with Ty and Van and the guy and the heart attack, I think it's once again just something for us to be able to say, oh, it could be the wilderness, but it also could just be this guy was running and panic stricken, and it's obviously an expensive restaurant, and he's thinking, how the fuck am I going to pay for this? And he just has a heart attack. That kind of thing happens all the time. So, I don't know. What are some theories you had going into this season that maybe we haven't talked about?
I think we've talked about pretty much everything that I feel is going to happen. Of course, we're going to get more of the surviving members of the wilderness coming out. Of course, you're stating Melissa and Hilary Swank possibly being her character as an adult and her showing herself. But I just want to know the full extent, of what happened in the wilderness, because when we see like the first episode of the series way back when, and it shows like this insane like ritual going on in the snow, and like it's wild, but I don't think we've gotten to that point yet. I feel that is like foreshadowing to what we're going to see towards the end of the series. I just want to see that progress. I just want to see more of the wilderness situations and like what's going to happen with Mari and Coach, and then everybody at the compound and all that stuff. And I think we really need to sidestep the adults for now, because I know we're going to get more with Lottie and Callie and what that relationship is going to be like. And then of course we have to know what is going to be the shadowy figure. But that's about, for me at the end of season 2, my whole thing was, I hope in season 3 we just focus more on the wilderness, because I feel like we've hit a wall now with the adults, because like Nat dies, all that stuff happens, Lottie gets sent away. To be honest, I wish Lottie stayed away for a while. Like, I think she came back too fast.
When she showed up, I was like, fucking Lottie's out. Here we go. Already.
Like, it's only been an episode and a half and she's already back.
Yeah.
But I just feel like they're running out of like compelling things to tell me about the adults. Like everything that Thaisa and Van are doing doesn't do anything. Like, all we're getting is Van's dying of cancer. And I mean, to be honest, I don't mind it, because I love Lauren Ambrose. I think she's fantastic.
Too. I love her.
For a show that I will recommend to anyone who is a fan of hers, Servant, which was on Apple TV. It was her. Good? Yeah, it was a M. Night Shyamalan produced show. It was really good. I
remember hearing about that.
Had the lead actress from The First Omen, the one who
Oh, okay.
She was in that.
Nice.
I had Rupert Grint from Harry Potter. Yeah, so
don't see him pop up very often anymore.
So like, I always love seeing her. Nothing is happening with them other than like the situation at the restaurant that doesn't lead to anything, but maybe it will. I don't know. It's too early to tell. It's just my minor complaints. Also, it's a complaint that me and my wife had as soon as we saw it. What's up with her scars? Like, they just look fake as hell.
Yeah, they're not looking.
They look awful.
Yeah, even when when she's still young in the wilderness, the way they're healing, I don't know. They look they look
They should
fake.
be gnarlier than that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they're not that smart. They're smart and resourceful, but when it comes to, I don't know, making wounds heal, you only have so many things out in the wilderness, and I don't think y'all know what will fix it and won't.
Yeah.
But
They look like they were drawn on by red. They look like they were drawn on by like a red pen. And then when you see her as an adult, I'm like, I don't think they should still be like that. They look exactly the same as when she was younger, but I don't think that's how scars work. But hey, again.
They should look more like a scar, like a white,
Yes.
and not red. They should not be like
Anyone in the
reddish.
medical field who listens to this, tell us we're wrong, okay?
Yeah,
Tell
let us
why they look
know.
like that.
If we're right or wrong. We are not
My
medical
minor gripes
professionals.
about a great show. So.
Yeah. This is one of the best shows I feel like I've watched in several years, and I'm a big TV show fan, and the mystery of this is kind of what keeps me coming back. And just like you said, that in the pilot episode, that first scene, that ritual, I don't know anybody who started this show that did not suck them in. And they're not only that, but they're eating each other like that. That is so just taboo, and it fascinates me, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But season 3, it's starting off pretty solid. Is there anything else you wanted to get off your chest?
No, I just looking forward to more.
Yeah.
I love, to be honest, as much as I like being able to binge an entire show, I do like the anticipation of having
Same.
to wait a week to get another episode. So I'm very excited.
It gives me something to look forward to.
Exactly.
But Yellowjackets season 3, it's on Paramount Plus with Showtime, dropping every Friday now. The first 2 episodes are out, and then it'll be 3 through 10. We are getting 10 episodes this season. I'm wondering if they're gonna, that bonus episode we said we were gonna get, if they're gonna kind of distribute it up and put the footage in the episodes kind of thing, or if maybe it's still gonna be a bonus episode later and we might get 11. I don't know. It's still to be seen. But regardless, I will be back next week to talk about episode 3. Parker may be here, maybe not. We'll see if he's available.
It's a mystery,
It's a mystery, just like this show. We'll have to ask the wilderness for advice.
Yes. Will I be back?
Yeah.
We'll answer later.
Yeah, he'll let us know later.
Yep.
Well, get down in the comments, guys. Let me know what you guys are thinking. I agree with Parker. I wish they would kind of tone back the adults a little bit, just give us what we need, and focus more on the wilderness, because that's where everyone's interest is, I feel like. And that's no shade to the adults, like you said, because there's no bad actors in this show anywhere. They're all fun to watch, but as far as the story is concerned, we need more wilderness.
Yes.
Alrighty, you guys, thank you for joining me for the Yellowjackets Barron's Hideout exclusive, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye!
Bye.